So it's still there. You get on the mat, probably even now, right? You get on the mat with a world champion, you're still the current world champion. There's still
Could
a little
I?
part of you
Oh,
like,
yeah.
could I still toss this guy?
But, you know, and
Kids these days are soft.
I did. Well, you know what? Some of these athletes, I mean, like, I give you a prime example, right? Is Ilias.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, he is a monster, right?
Yeah.
And you just, of course, you couldn't, you know, because you just at 60 something, you couldn't. But you like to think that you could, you know, and
you could. You never know. You got to find out.
You know what you would do? What you can do is you can cause them problems, and they feel it immediately, but you'd last a minute, you know.
So you've trained with Iliadis. So I gotten a chance to train with him as well. He's a really nice guy, really great
guy.
Really
he trained with me. We were training together. Every hotel that we used to go into, we'd end up in the gym together and we'd train. And this one time he was in there and he just wanted somebody to grab and grip hold of. And so we ended up doing this kind of grappling in the middle of, the people doing weight training and, the different things, watching these two madmen doing. I'm glad we weren't on a mat at that particular time.
Yeah.
But good fun.
What do you think about that guy? He, like you, achieved a lot of success when he was young.
17. You imagine that? 17, 18 years of age. And he's able to compete with the men. There's not many men can do that, and it doesn't happen very often. It happens later with the men. And often they're not physically as developed as they, so from me, for example, I fought Nevzorov, who was world and Olympic champion. He was the current world and Olympic champion. They sent me to the European Championships senior at 17. And that doesn't happen very often. And I pulled Nevzorov. So I fought Nevzorov and I had him really worried, because he expected, without a doubt, to come out, throw this kid, and junior.
And he was like thick and shredded, like he's a man.
He was shredded. Like there's a picture of him in his judogi, and his judogi is just cut, and it's and he looks the business. And there's me in this baggy, like skinny kid inside this baggy thing. But and the thing is that the more he tried and the harder he tried and the more he panicked, the further it went away from him. And so, of course, he got the decision at the end, and deservedly. But I worried him, and so for me that was a massive step forward, because a year later I was, starting to fill out, and 2 years later I was competing for the Olympic title. So
I don't know if I remember, but Iliadis is interesting. Because even at 17, I feel like he was doing big throws, like literally lifting them with the hips.
Just rips them out of the ground, And I was saying to Nikki, my wife, and she said, "What would you do now that was different than what you did then?" And I said, "But I never had any pickups, I didn't. That's not what we did, But you have a look at the young." Ukrainians or the young Russians or the young Eastern Bloc Mongolians, and they're ripping people out the ground. I mean, it's just different style of judo, and it just looks different. But now they're starting to do traditional style judo as well.